Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about ayahuasca and how it changed me because I got so much more than I ever bargained for. Not a derogatory connotation. But when I tell you what I got from ayahuasca, that went so far beyond the realm of healing. I don't know how many people get this stuff. I don't know how many people have the types of experiences that I've had with ayahuasca, in ayahuasca, after ayahuasca. I don't know. So, what I'm going to talk about is not so much the healing journey, but what I'm going to talk about is everything that I got that was outside of the realm of any intention to go to the jungle to drink some medicina with a trained and knowledgeable shaman to heal my mind from past trauma. You know what I mean? That's what we all go for, right? Most of us, we go because something happened in childhood, adolescence, teenage years, young adulthood, whatever, that we want to free ourselves from, that we have not been able to free ourselves from. So ayahuasca, since Western medicine, Western psychology, all that Western stuff is pretty toxic, basically designed to suck money out of you. And well, there's just not a whole lot of good that comes out of it for a lot of people, in my opinion. So I go to the jungle. I have a ceremony where I release everything that I was carrying with me, and boom, that was gone. That wasn't a lot of work for me. The opportunity presented itself, and I was like, I've been carrying this shit for a long time. I'm done with it. Here you go. It's everything that I got subsequent to that that has caused me the most problems, caused me the most confusion, frustration, in a lot of ways. Ayahuasca turned my mind on in a handful of ways that I don't ever remember it being turned on. My mind, I guess, now sees things, and it's not everything. I'm not claiming to be a guru and like I see all things. What I'm referring to in the way that I'm about to say this stuff is the things that I see. You'll get a sense of some of it. I see a lot of shit now that I didn't see before, that a lot of people don't see now. That makes sense. A whole slew of things came to me about how the world works, who we are, what we are, why we were put here. A whole slew of things came to me regarding the equations that make up the human, varying aspects of us that are at the core of what they are, aspects of us that are weak and vulnerable, that we don't have inherent defense mechanisms for, that beings outside of this realm are very aware of and know how to manipulate. And unfortunately, our own kind here in the 3D are also aware of these things within us and know how to manipulate and capitalize on them. My mind has been tuned in or subsequent to ayahuasca to the human condition, being tuned in to the degree of suffering that's on this planet, the equations that govern the suffering. There is an analytical aspect of who I am because I'm an Aquarian with a Gemini rising. So there are three of me in there that are analytical as shit. To a fault sometimes. It gets stuck in there. And I can't help but analyze the things that come to me. Seeing all these equations in the human, seeing that they appear to have been designed for malevolent purposes. All the barriers and blocks that are built into the human with the brain, the inward journey, the DNA. The fact that we are mind-based psychological beings. Therefore, you knock the human off of center psychologically, and that human may never become balanced again. As a race of sentient, intelligent, aware beings, we are psychological, mind-based beings because that is where the perception exists. The perception is rooted in how we interpret things. Let me rephrase that. I don't think that just came out right. The perception is where we interpret things and is a mechanism by which we interpret things, I would suppose applies. And that exists in the mind. So even though the heart may play a factor in the human condition and the human experience, the pilot of the ship, in as much as we are in control, the consciousness, the awareness resides in the mind. Or it interprets the experience through the vehicle of the mind and the interpretations and perceptions that are developed there. So we're a race of beings that are mental. Hermetics teaches us that the first principle of Hermetics, or the first principle of the Kabbalion, the seven Hermetic principles, is the all is mental, the universe is mind, or the universe is mental, the all is mind, the universe is mental. So this is a mental game. We're designed as mental, psychological, emotional beings. Fuck with the psychology of the human. They may never get back to center. Fuck with the emotions of the human. They may never be right again, especially if that arrow penetrates deep enough into the heart, or the mind and the psychology, or the subconscious mind. My mind is turned on in ways where I now see equations in us that do not allude to benevolent creation. Because there are too many of them that are all seemingly being capitalized upon by something outside of us and our own kind. All of this awareness, all of this knowing, all of this understanding of us, the world, how it all works, what's been done to humans for 7,000 years or longer. The fact that we're recycled, not reincarnated, that we have mind parasites or mind viruses that have come by way of something outside of us, as well as by way of our own, putting these parasites in our mind through propaganda, indoctrination, brainwashing, just ridiculousness. There is so many variables and equations contained within the human experience that are here designed to ensure that the human will suffer, experience suffering. It's not even funny. Epigenetics plays a major factor, a major role in our developmental processes as human beings when we're children. When you look at the state of the world, how toxic a lot of people are, what some people do to their kids, that's the stuff that goes into the mind. So we have the toxic world toxifying the mind of the parents. But there's just all these equations. I'm not even going to go into it because it's too long of a video and it sounds too negative. This is what I've been able to see is kind of the overall point I'm making with explaining this. This is the stuff that my mind is turned on to. I'm an Aquarian, so I have that humanitarian thing in me, plus a very analytical, truth-seeking mind. Then the Gemini rising and the twins, and both of them have that analytical, truth-seeking, gotta-know mind. So I've got this trifecta of analytical, processing, analysis type mind. It's a blessing and a curse. And a lot of it is turned on subsequent to my experiences with ayahuasca. I don't know what to do with a lot of it. I'm in a world where most of the people that I exist around or in a world with don't know this stuff, don't see this stuff, can't believe this stuff, don't understand it, look at the Bible, or it's just like, this is what I got from ayahuasca. I began to analyze the equations of suffering. I've been analyzing and learning more about this experience of love, seeing it for what it is, in as much as it is a chemical that is fired off in the brain, or a group of chemicals that are fired off in the brain that cause some feeling based off of particular sets of stimuli that enter into our human experience with someone else. Love appears to be based off of chemicals. Now, it certainly seems to also have a resonant frequency, and that resonant frequency may be most beneficial to the human. Also notice that by the time we're about 21, when this developmental stage of the human being stops, whatever it is that you get within your subconscious mind, that's going to be your baggage to a large degree. That will be your lot in life, unless you are one of the ones who has managed to figure out how to get into the subconscious mind and pull out all the crap that's in there, that's the tapes that are playing, all the shit that doesn't serve you, that came from the toxic people that were around you when you were growing up, or whatever variation of the stuff that you have that doesn't serve you, that got into your subconscious mind that now is plaguing you or has been plaguing you. See, ayahuasca itself is not going to take away from you a lot of the things that most people seem to think going to ayahuasca is going to take away from you. It'll help you release some mental baggage, some emotional baggage that has prevented you from moving forward in life. Yeah, you can do that if you're ready, if you want to. It's not just going to give it to you. It'll give you the opportunity to do it. You have to want it, you have to take it, and you have to be the one that lets go and becomes free of that baggage. And then, as I've said in the other videos I've done, then there's all this other work to do. That's actually the harder work in the healing equation, and the evolution of you as a being equation. This is pretty hard work. I don't know how many people get this stuff. I had visions of these mantid beings that were working on my brain, fixing something, things, fine tuning things, removing blocks, turning things on. I don't know. But I continuously had visions where these damn mantids were working on my brain. That was the interpretation, working on it. Didn't know if they were fixing something, turning something on, removing a block. I don't know. It was a repeating theme. And I didn't know what to do with it. My hair's fucking with me. It's kind of, never mind. That's why. Anyway. I didn't know what to do with it. What the hell does that mean? Why am I seeing these beings working on my damn head? What am I supposed to get out of that? I got more from ayahuasca than I ever bargained for on just about every level. Now, mind you, the intention for me was to release my baggage and then begin walking the path of a healer. If that entailed a deep journey into shamanism, to whatever, I don't know. Then I figured, hell with it, that's what it's going to be. I had no idea what direction this walking the path of a healer was going to look like. Fed up enough with life that it was easy for me to let go of the 3D. And I started getting all this stuff. Seeing things that, there's some things I've seen that I've just never even shared with everybody or anybody. Things I've seen that I will never share with anybody, because unless somebody, I've learned very, 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 in a very difficult way, that unless somebody else shares the experience when you're dealing with visions or experiences that you have in these medicines, when you're in that space and incorporate other people, keep your mouth shut. Unless they say something or you get the sense that it was a shared experience, and those are rare. Those are rare. Let it go, because it'll likely bring you pain. Ayahuasca's kind of helped me to see through people more. I may have already had some of the capacity for this shit before I went to the jungle for the first time, but on some levels it seems to have heightened a little bit. And it doesn't take me very long to be talking with somebody or experiencing them. And not everybody. There are people who can fool me. Sure, been done. But I seem to see through people more. I seem to recognize bullshit and lies more. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain without sounding like I'm full of myself or arrogant, because I don't mean it from that context. Some of this has not been fun. I do not consider it to be the proverbial blessing at all. My life's been turned upside down more than it's been helped since my first cup of ayahuasca. Could all that change tomorrow? I suppose. Does that make the last 3 years of my life that have been like shaking me? These are my ankles in my hand, shaking me, shaking me, shaking me, shaking me, shaking me. Oh, I could have done without that. In a lot of ways. Would I do it again? I don't know. I really don't know. There's a part of me that wants to say probably not, knowing what I now know. And there's a part of me that says, hell yeah, I would do it again. I still don't know where this thing's going, so to speak. I have no idea what the outcome will be. Therefore, I have no measure of or gauge right now if this shit's been worth it, if that makes sense. Where I'm at right now, I almost wish I had never put a cup to my lips. I'm at a point where I don't ever intend to put another cup to my lips of any of that stuff ever again. Because some of what's happened and what it's caused or opened up in my life subsequent to drinking and experiencing these substances is just more bullshit. Far more bullshit than I ever wanted to fucking deal with. The old adage, be careful what you wish for. Yeah, it seems to be very, very, very true. And until you get something that you wished for, and you realize what a rotten egg it was, does be careful what you wish for start ringing in your head, in your being. Yeah, right now I'm on the fence as to whether or not I think it was a good thing. And I'm leaning more towards the not of never putting a cup of that stuff to my lips again. Ever. There's too many variables involved that you're never going to get any answers for. There's too many variables involved that will cause confusion. There are too many entities out there in the electromagnetic spectrum that exist intelligent life forms and even parasite life forms that are not in this physical 3D but have the ability to fuck with us. I have some knowings now that I can't logic and reason away. I have some awarenesses now that I'll never be able to get rid of. Some knowings I'll never be able to let go of. I see things now that a lot of other people don't. It's not a place of arrogance. It's more of a curse than it is a blessing. It certainly has helped to even further separate me from the herd, so to speak. It's weird how I see things in people. Sometimes I call them on it too. I always find that they're in denial of it, because how can I know? And people like to stand behind, well, their denials, use their ego, how good they are and how perfect they are. And I think ayahuasca fucked up my intuition. It used to work pretty good. And then somewhere along the line through my ayahuasca ceremonies, my intuition did 180. Turned it completely around and totally fucking stopped working correctly. Because everything that I think that I've used my intuition to interpret subsequent to my first cup of ayahuasca, it's been wrong. It's caused me a lot of pain. So I might have gotten more negative out of ayahuasca than anything good. Certainly more pain than benefit in most areas of my life. But it turned on some aspects of my mind, heightened some of my senses. What do you fucking do? It didn't teach me how to change my thinking. That's my work. Didn't go into the subconscious mind and remove any of the patterns that I might have had that didn't serve me, that I didn't want, that are plagues in my life and always have been. That was, for instance, baggage from my parents when I was being programmed as a wee lad. Didn't fix any of that shit. Whatever. Spent an awful lot of money. Yeah, I spent an awful lot of money. So this is all the stuff ayahuasca did for me other than heal my mind. I'll be honest with you. If I don't force myself to find the good in the experiences, I'm going to become jaded and bitter or something. Because it's been very fucking hard to deal with life after ayahuasca and San Pedro. I can't stop seeing shit that other people don't see. I don't mean like hallucinations. It's just seeing the world for what it is. Seeing these mechanisms that control us for what they are. Seeing what we are for what it is. Seeing all the equations that limit us and confound us and stifle us and prevent us from growing for what they are. Seeing that we were created. It would appear to be because we are a source of food, to be a source of food for something, or a race of somethings that feed off of us, the negative energy that we put out. It's really easy to stimulate this silly little human. Fuck with their emotions, fuck with their psychology, fuck with their finances. You can fuck with just about any aspect of the silly little human and pull those strings like a marionette and watch it do a little dance. Oh yeah, we're easy to manipulate. Maybe the monks aren't, the ones that study monkism and Hinduism and Buddhism and all Taoism and Taoism. Yeah, maybe those guys aren't easy. But the rest of the world, for the most part, oh yeah. And you start looking at the collective of us. Something's been feeding off of us as a human species for a long time. And we've been made so goddamn ignorant. Wake up, go to work, pay your bills, pay your taxes, have some kids and run on that fucking hamster wheel. Welcome to the 3D world, people.